This is a deep dive into the Space Marines Combat Patrol. So, the Space Marines Combat Patrol is a box set that is typically used as the intro to get into the Warhammer 40k hobby. Space Marines are seen as like the starter army and the main army everybody joins in as. Should that be the case? Nobody knows. But before we talk about what's actually in the box sets, we have to talk about how the army plays. So the army is a very tactical army where you can play as a very combat-oriented army, or a very shooting-oriented army, or a movement, or a different strategy army. You really have a lot of flexibility when you're doing Space Marines. So the first model in the Warhammer Space Marines Combat Patrol is the Captain and Terminator armor, which is a really cool model, allows you to re-roll charge rolls, and allows you to have a free little stratagem bubble around whatever unit you're leading. This can be equipped with the Terminator Squad, which is in this box. This is a 5-man squad that has the Assault Cannon as the heavy weapons option. There's also a Librarian in Terminator armor, which has really cool psychic shooting options as Witchfire or Focus Witchfire, which is really cool as a character. And it also allows sustained hits 1 to your Terminators. There's also a 5-man Infernus Marine squad, and the Teleport Homer that goes with the 5-man Terminator squad, bringing this out to a 13 model box. The 5-man Infernus squad is really good for burning low infantry models and swarms. It's really good for that. Only problem I have with the models in here is that they have 2 leadership options for the Terminators. I feel like they should have picked either having the Captain or the Librarian instead of having both in there. I feel like that's mildly confusing because when you're playing Combat Patrol, one of them has to go off and wander on its own. A really good question is, how does this box play? So one really good thing is you have to figure out which model you want to equip with your Terminators. I always choose the Librarian because I enjoy the sustained hits more than I do enjoy... Whoa. A really good question about this box set is, how does it play? The first thing you have to do is choose your leadership model. For your Terminator squad, I always choose the Librarians because I enjoy sustained hits over rerolling charges. So the Captain is my go out and do things model that typically will get me points, challenging low level characters and squadrons, while my Terminators and the Librarian are killing heavier things. Then I have the Infernus Marines go up and hold objectives as they are killing swarm units. Typically, if there's a large infantry blob, that's what you send your Infernus Marines after. But it overall is a really easy to play army, super fun to field, enjoyable, having high stakes characters. That's not a lot of them, but it makes when they do something feel more important. It's almost like that demigod kind of thing. It's very similar to Custodes. Some weaknesses is that the Captain by himself can't do a whole lot. He's very limited to the number of attacks he has in shooting and in combat. The Terminators with the Librarian have a really hard time dishing out high damage unless you get them in combat with the Power Fists or the Librarian doing focused Witchfire. And the Infernus Marines tend to die very easily. So that's kind of the weaknesses of that army is. How difficult is it to build and paint? That's a really great question. So building is really easy, especially if you get the starter kit. I'll touch on that later because they're push-to-fit models. They just slide together if you cut them right, and it's just overall really fun to build. Painting them, though, is... The Captain and Librarian are definitely harder than the Terminators and Infernus Marines, which are really great. I would recommend starting with the Teleport Homer because it's really good. If you mess up on that, nobody's going to care. But overall, painting and building is probably one of the easiest combat patrols to paint and build because of the model count and the difficulty of the painting. So the verdict. Should you buy or should you not buy? Don't buy this box, don't buy this box, don't buy this box. And I'll tell you why. Because the starter kit gets you almost all of the same models for cheaper, like a lot cheaper. The starter kit comes with all of the same models, except the Librarian, for about $50 less. And the Librarian's about $35 on Amazon, so you can just buy the Librarian and get your Combat Patrol for cheaper. So I would recommend going out and doing that. And you get a bunch of free Tyranid models, which theoretically you could resell to other people in the hobby and make some of your money back. Wanting this box is not a problem. It's a good box. It's a good Combat Patrol to play. Just buying the box as the Combat Patrol absolutely sucks. Don't do it. It's a waste of money. If you enjoyed this video and thought this was worth it, please like and subscribe so I can make more of these.